Hey guys, what's going on? It's Brady Joker here, and welcome back to another What I Watched in Month Ranked. Today we're going to be doing What I Watched in May. Pretty short, low-key month. We had 13 new watches and only 5 rewatches, so this one shouldn't be too crazy. However, the quality of the movies I watched in this month they're pretty good. Also, wanted to say thank you all for watching my short film that I released on my YouTube channel a little earlier this month. I know I haven't been posting a lot, but like I said, the end of school, big thing that happened this month, as well as, of course, my movie, which took up a lot of time, and I just kind of wanted a break after putting my whole life into that movie, which I'm really happy with the reception it's gotten. You guys seem to enjoy it, and I appreciate the kind words in the comments. So with that being said, let's get started with the ranking. Okay, at 13 is Suspicion. This one kind of really disappointed me because I really wanted to like this thing because, spoilers, I watch a lot of older movies this month, like a ton of older movies, and this is kind of the first Hitchcock that we're going to talk about today, which is unfortunate because I kind of really wanted to like this one, seeing as I really like Cary Grant, even though Jimmy Stewart is better. But yeah, this one was kind of just very bland. The chemistry and the romance didn't really work for me. The big twist was like fine, and of course, kind of like Psycho, there's this big exposition dump at the end of the movie where it kind of explains everything, and it's like, we don't really need that. We can kind of just tell what's happening, and I don't know. If you want to watch a better movie like this, just watch Rebecca. Rebecca is still not my favorite film of all time, but I do think it's better than this one. Alright, here comes a hot take. Number 12, In the Mood for Love. I know tons of people love this movie. It's very highly rated, very highly regarded, and it just didn't do a lot for me. I just thought this thing it didn't hit me at all. I was not invested in these two characters in the slightest. I didn't care about their story. I mean, it kind of felt like Lost in Translation a little bit, where I just didn't feel anything for these two characters. Now, that being said, I thought the performances of these two characters were great. The cinematography was beautiful. I thought the movie looked stunning. But yeah, it was fine. Alrighty, number 11, we have To Catch a Thief. This is another Hitchcock with Cary Grant, and I thought Cary Grant was good in this, but again, it's with these Hitchcock films. The romance just doesn't do anything for me. They always just feel so rushed in these Hitchcock older films, and I get, we're going to talk about a movie where it's also kind of like that I rated much higher than these, but with that movie we'll talk about, it's kind of the point. With this one, it's just so rushed and doesn't have any chemistry at all, in my opinion. I did actually think the twist was pretty good in this one, as well as I really love kind of the concept of this ex-jewel thief trying to catch another jewel thief who's copying his style. I think that's a cool concept, and while I don't hate this movie at all, in fact, I think it's a pretty good watch, it just didn't do much for me on some elements of it. Number 10, Sicario. This is another Denis movie. I thought it was pretty great, to be honest. Something that really dragged this movie down for me was Emily Blunt's character. I just did not like her, to be honest. She was kind of annoying in every scene she was in. But of course, standout here, Benicio del Toro. Oh my lord. He's insane in this movie, and his character is so good and so well written, and he carries this movie for me. The film is also gorgeous. I mean, there's so many shots of scenery. So many shots of scenery. Like, they're pretty, but there's a ton of like drone sweeping shots of like a vehicle moving, and it's like, I get it. But yeah, I thought all around the movie was great. It had a good ending. I really liked the ending of this movie. It just had a lot of shocking moments where it was like, wow, that really just happened. So yeah, all in all, it was fine. It's not kind of my cup of tea when it comes to my taste in film, but to be honest, I had a great time with it. Thought it was good. You know what, I thought I'd throw in my movie, seeing as I got it on Letterboxd, which I still can't believe. If you want to rate it, it's on Letterboxd, so It's pretty cool. But yeah, I guess I can talk about my own movie here. Wish I had a little more time, just a little more, because it was technically a school project, but I kind of didn't care about the school side of it. I kind of just wanted to make this my own project, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so if I had a bit more time, I think I could have fleshed out a couple more things. I think I wanted to flesh out Adam and Reed's relationship a little bit more, add a couple more scenes of dialogue, like, I don't know. There's more things I wanted to do with this plot that I just didn't have enough time for. But the experience was great. Obviously, it can't be perfect. I'm a high schooler with the camera that I'm filming with right now is what I'm filming with for the movie. And high schoolers are hard to work with, especially with scheduling and everything. So I'm very grateful for them all, though. Everyone did a great job. Everyone provided exactly what I needed, and I appreciate them all for working with me, especially wearing a suit at the party scene. That was a chore to try to convince people to help me out with, but my friends came in clutch, helped out a lot. So I appreciate everyone who was involved in helping me here with the acting, and I think I love you all. So yeah, that's my movie. Alrighty, number 8, we're going to go to The Great Debaters. Now this is a very standard kind of history class movie that like your history teacher will just throw on at the end of the year. And that's exactly what my history teacher did this year. And honestly, I was thoroughly shocked by how much I actually enjoyed this movie. There were a couple of plot lines that I didn't really have any satisfying conclusion or arc or anything like that kind of just strung out the runtime just to string it out. But this main plot here was really entertaining. Denzel Washington, I thought, did a good job as an actor and a director. But hey, a standout for me was Nate Parker here. I thought he was excellent in this kind of overly confident, arrogant character, but also a very intelligent character. I really liked him as a character, and his performance was great. But yeah, everyone did great here. I just thought it was a very interesting kind of biopic, because it is a true story at the end of the day, which I think is really cool. I had no idea about this story, and I think it's awesome, the story. So I thought it was a great little movie. Definitely go watch it if you haven't and you're into these kind of history biopics. It's a great watch. I hate to do this, but number 7 is The Favorite. Look, I've been on a little bit of a Yorgos Lanthimos love because I've only seen 4 of his movies at this point, which we'll talk about another one much later on the list. And unfortunately, The Favorite is probably my least favorite of his works. I know that's probably a bit of a hot take, but honestly, I think you could make an argument for any of them, because of all the Yorgos Lanthimos like lists I've seen, I really can't find someone who has a preferred... like, when you look at other directors, there's always, like, the one movie that everyone loves. Like, Christopher Nolan is The Dark Knight. Wes Anderson, it's typically Grand Budapest Hotel. You know, that sort of thing. David Fincher's Fight Club or The Social Network. Take your pick. But with Yorgos Lanthimos, you could make an argument, and I see people putting any of his movies at their favorites. I see The Favorite always being put at number 1. I see Poor Things. I see The Killing of a Sacred Deer. I see The Lobster. I see tons of people putting different things of his movies at number 1. So me saying The Favorite is my least favorite doesn't mean I hate it. In fact, I think it's actually a pretty great film. I kind of love it. But it's just probably my least favorite just because period pieces aren't my thing. Except Amadeus and Barry Lyndon. But like, this movie just kind of... It kind of dragged out at times. I felt... very hateable characters all around. Every character here was kind of hateable, which was definitely the point, which I appreciate. But yeah, just an awesome film that had very clear influences on a film that we will talk about much later on this list. Really weird that I watched both of these and had no idea that they were like, had similar plots, and that this one had a clear influence, or whatever. This one was influenced by a film that we'll talk about later. So, yeah. Alrighty, number 6, Fallen Angels. Good lord, this movie's excellent. It's great. It kind of, the only reason it's not a 4.5 for me is because it took a while for me to get into the plot. Because the movie doesn't really have a plot, if I'm being honest. It's kind of just a movie about kind of 3 or 4 people just living their life, figuring out relationships, figuring out their futures, just that sort of thing. It's just like 3 main characters kind of doing that. I heavily cared a lot more about the mute character. I thought his story and his storyline was so good, and I would have watched him for hours if I could. He was such an interesting character. I loved his inner dialogue. But the 2 kind of hitmen, the partners who are falling out, I thought they were also really good. Man, this movie was awesome. Also, immaculate ending. Couldn't have ended it any better. The experimental cinematography on this one was also really eye-catching. It really grabbed me with every single shot. It kind of had kind of a Requiem for a Dream feel to it, whereas it's a very dark and gritty tone and atmosphere in the film, and it's kind of shot very, I don't know, like claustrophobic. You're really in with the characters, which I really like. So all around, I loved this movie so much. Just, it took me a while to get into it, you know what I'm saying? Oh god, now we're in favorites territory. Number 5, Strangers on a Train. Another Hitchcock. Wow, this one was excellent. Bruno, what a scene stealer. Every scene this dude was in, he just brought such charisma but menace to every scene, where it's like you're scared of him, but he's so like energetic. He's so charismatic that you just love watching him. He's such a good character, and he steals every scene he's in. But not just that alone. Like, the plot itself is super interesting, that this random conversation that these 2 people can have on a train just leads to this big grand journey that takes these characters off their feet. It's awesome. I loved this movie. It has its big not anticlimactic, but it has its big climactic Hitchcock ending that's great. Honestly loved it. Just had some scenes that felt a bit filler, a bit too much talking sometimes, that kind of had no direction. But other than that, I loved so much at what this movie was doing. I loved it personally. Alright, number 4, Sunset Boulevard. What a movie. I loved Sunset Boulevard. It's another oldie, 1950, and it's literally just, it's a staple of Hollywood. It is genuinely just an iconic piece of art that is excellent. There's not much for me to say about this movie that hasn't been said a million times. It's stunning, the performances are amazing, the plot is incredible, the ending is incredible. It's just a solid movie that I think drags out a little too much at some times. That, I mean, when the conversation for me between a 4.5 and a 5 honestly just borders down to personal taste. I just don't love it as much as I want to give it a 5, but it's such an amazing film. I love it dearly. Such a great film. Number 3, The Lobster. The Lobster. I loved this movie so much, bro. And this is why I think Yorgos Lanthimos is a very hit or miss director for some people, because on one hand, he comes up with some of the most original, some of the most unique concepts you will ever see. You're not going to get another Yorgos Lanthimos film. But then he takes those unique and creative ideas and takes it to the taboos and atrocities of life and turns them into this dark, cynical film. And I think that's what turns a lot of people off. That's why some people hate Poor Things. That's why some people clearly hate The Lobster, because everyone who I've talked to who have seen it, my mother, my sister, one of my friends, they hate it. They hate it. They hate this movie. And I freaking love it. It's dark. It's depressing. Its tone is so grit. It's just such a depressing, film. But I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. Performances are incredible. Now, I haven't seen any of his movies he made earlier, like Dogtooth and Alps, but I'll definitely be checking those out at some point in the future, because I love Yorgos Lanthimos and everything he does. So yeah. Number 2, Memories of Murder. What a film. This shocked me with how good it was and how honestly creepy. Like there were some scary scenes in this, like that field scene in the rain. Wow, excellent use of like symmetry, composition, and lighting. Wow, man, the performances in this thing though are so heavy. It's like Zodiac, but not. It's low-key better than Zodiac, if I'm being honest, because this is a shorter film than Zodiac, and yet I feel like you get just as much into these characters' personal psyche as you do in Zodiac, and it's shorter. The ending is so good. I mean, that tunnel scene is infamous. It's infamously incredible. I don't really have a lot of issues with the movie at all. I was invested immediately. I was invested the whole way through. I mean, there were a couple weird things, like the fortune teller with the painting. That was pretty funny. If you haven't seen it and you liked Parasite, watch this. But my number one movie of the month very easily is All About Eve. I watched this last night and I cannot get it out of my mind. I kind of just want to make a movie review, and I know I say that for a ton of movies, but this one I really just want to make a review talking about everything I loved, because I loved everything about it. Genuinely, I can't think of a flaw. It's a flawless film. Its influence is insane. This is what I was talking about with The Favorite. Without this movie, I don't think The Favorite would exist, or maybe it would, but like All About Eve is such a great film. It's kind of that bait and switch that I love so much when you look at titles and the poster. Because when you look at the poster and the title of this movie, All About Eve, happy, and you look at the poster and it's 6 people all smiling, arms locked, and you know, they're walking, and it's just so happy looking, and comedy and romance, and then you watch it and it's like, oh, this is dark, this is sad. Wow. I don't want to really give too much of the plot away because I kind of just want you guys to watch it. It's incredible. The pacing is amazing. Never was bored. Bette Davis, for being All About Eve, I certainly just couldn't stop wanting Bette Davis on my screen. The characters here are just so fleshed out. They're so raw. They're so authentic. They're so clever with their dialogue, and it's such a funny movie too. But man, All About Eve, what you gonna do without it? It's a staple in film, and I love it dearly. Alright, now we're going to be doing the rewatches. Kind of like last time, we're going to be running through these pretty quick. There's only 5 of them, so this shouldn't take that long. We're going to pull out the phone here so I can have them ranked. We have some good rewatches on this one. But coming in the last place is going to be Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Dog Days. What an amazing movie. I think this has the most amount of heart and great emotional moments. I love Greg and his dad's relationship. I love it. It's hilarious. Roderick, you have my heart. Number 4, we're going to go Vertigo. I love Vertigo. This is what I was talking about with the chemistry and the romance not really being fully fleshed out. But that's the point. The point of the film is obsession. This dude gets so obsessed with her. And he shouldn't. Like, these people should not be obsessed with each other, but they are. And it drives them to madness. And that's the point of the film. And I love it. I still, even on rewatch, don't love the first 30 minutes because it's literally just no dialogue for like 20 minutes. He's just following her, and it's just like, all right, I know what's going on. Let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to the twist. Let's get to the turns. It's awesome though. Vertigo, incredible film. All right, number 3 is going to be Eyes Wide Shut. Man, I love this movie. I forgot just how good it was at throwing your audience for a loop, making you question every single thing, every line of dialogue. You're like, what is happening? It's also just another great bait and switch movie where it's like, you think like this movie's just about, you know, sex and people's way of, you know, wanting to cheat, and then all of a sudden, bang, you get hit with this absolutely off-the-wall scene. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. And it just comes out of nowhere, but it fits in so perfectly with the narrative and the themes of the movie, especially when it comes to an end. I love Eyes Wide Shut. Stanley Kubrick is a literal genius. Still my favorite director of all time. even after watching a lot of other directors' movies, he's still top dog in my opinion. Second best, I really want to put this at number 1, but I can't. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules. I still think this is my only genuine comedy 5 out of 5. It never fails to make me laugh. Every joke lands. It has heart. It's a great family film. Everyone can love it. How do you not love Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules? Devin Bostick, you are a legend. Roderick is genuinely one of the best comedy fictional characters ever performed and written. I love it. It's so quotable. I can't say enough about this movie that I love. Like, genuinely, I love it. And number 1 is Her. I'm not going to get into why I rewatched this, but I did because it's amazing and it makes you feel sad. And I love it. It's Joaquin Phoenix, bro. I've talked about Her before. It's such a vulnerable film, so real, so raw. It just takes everything, it just takes a warm blanket and wraps it around you. And God. And that's what I watched in May ranked. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like and comment and subscribe. Of course, if you want to, you don't have to. But yeah, I'm gonna go. I won't be making a lot of videos. I'll be gone. So this is going to be what you're going to get for probably most of June. Maybe. So yeah, I'll see you guys whenever I do. See you guys. Hope you have a great rest of your day, evening, or night, or whenever you're watching this. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.